Good evening, ladies. In today's video, we're going to be discussing AI agents again. This is still the most hot narrative, the most hot topic on crypto Twitter, and it's the most interesting topic, potentially one of the most interesting niches to be paying attention to for the entire 2025 bull cycle. So in my last video, we were talking about AI agent infrastructure. In today's video, we are going to be going a little bit further, actually much further down the risk curve, and be talking about individual AI agents. Now, I do want to say I'm mostly invested in the AI agent infrastructure, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I really highly recommend you watch that video first. I'll leave a link for it up there to give you an understanding of what's going on here, because this is a really, really important niche to be paying attention to. It's still a very, very small market cap relative to where I think it's going to go. Now, a lot of these projects have been up only for the last month, and potentially not a beautiful entry or perfect entry whatsoever. So I'm not FOMOing in a huge amount right now at this very moment in time, but I do think there is room to run for the rest of the cycle within this niche. So definitely paying a huge amount of attention to this niche. So I would recommend you get an understanding of what exactly is going on. So I want to give a little bit of an overview on what kind of AI agents I think are most valuable and are the safest to invest in right now if that's something you wanted to. And I will give some agents that I'm looking at investing into towards the end of the video. Now, most of them I haven't actually invested in. The reason being, I just think it's incredibly risky to be buying these agents at the very moment in time. Reason being is it's so early. A lot of these agents are very primitive. They're not nowhere near their full potential. It's still really early days, and you can only kind of see the direction that they're going and the kind of idea behind them. So you're kind of betting on the teams, you're betting on the founders of these agents. So again, I've used this analogy, but you can kind of think of the AI agent infrastructure as the layer ones, the chains that these applications are being built on. So the applications in this case would be the agents themselves. So betting on applications, or you could think of it as an NFT project or a meme coin being built on that chain. So obviously the applications built on the chain carry more risk. So right now, AI agents, this entire landscape is in a bit of a bubble, and contrary to popular belief, you shouldn't avoid bubbles. You should actually run headfirst into bubbles and add fuel to the fire, as George Soros would say. But again, the AI agents being more risky, if you are going to play in them, you have to kind of think these are more short-term plays probably, or you have to be aware of the risk that a lot of these are going to be completely useless or go to zero in a matter of months, if not weeks. So just be somewhat careful with these AI agents. I will share some interesting plays, but just keep that in mind. So what are the kind of agents that I think are interesting, and what are the main things you should be looking for investing in an agent? Okay, so like I mentioned in my previous video, the types of agents that I think are the most interesting right now are the agents that are providing real world value at this very moment in time. And an even better way to frame this is which agents right now will provide the most value in 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months time. That's where the real alpha lies. So right now, like when I made my video on virtuals, I was interested in Luna, and that was the first virtuals agent, and it basically was a social media influencer. It was a Twitter influencer, a TikTok influencer. It was making the videos, making tweets, and it was live streaming 24/7. That turned out to not be providing as much real world value right now. Maybe it's a bit too early for AI agents to become social media influencers with, millions of followers and going super viral and becoming super famous. Maybe it's a little bit too early for that. But one sector that has absolutely taken off massively in the AI agent landscape is AI agent KOLs, like alpha KOLs. So these would be AI agents that are providing useful information for crypto Twitter traders. Like the rest of the world hasn't really woken up to AI agents and hasn't used AI agents ever, or probably doesn't even know what an AI agent is. But people on crypto Twitter are actually already receiving some utility in the form of alpha or relevant information about investing in crypto from some of these AI agents, which I'll discuss further on in the video. But unfortunately, to go along with some of these agents that are actually providing useful information, we've got an absolute slew of just vapor AI chatbots, essentially. So we kind of need to work out what's the difference between an agent and a bot. So if you want to know what the difference is technically, you can read this. I'll pause the video. You can kind of imagine that an agent has a mind of its own, or is semi-conscious, even though it's not obviously conscious really, but you kind of think of it in that way. That's the difference between an agent and a bot. And right now, a lot of these AI agents would be better defined as a bot. So not really providing amazing alpha, not providing amazing utility at the very moment in time. Maybe further down in the future, when the teams continue working on them and iterating and improving them, maybe they do become more of an AI agent. But for now, a lot of these are just spitting out absolute garbage and are completely useless. So just be aware of, like, what you want to invest in is something that's providing real utility, in my opinion, or will be able to provide real utility. So a team that is constantly working on updating their bot or their agent and making it better over time. I want to give you an idea of, there's not just alpha agents, like that's what's popping off right now, but there's like a million different things that these AI agents could do in the future. I'll just read out a few of them, just so to get your juices rolling in your head to be able to spot what could be useful in the future. So some of the ideas are market making agents, investment agents, research analyst agents, marketing agents, so that would be like full-time shillers, creative design agents, software devs, auditing agents, personalized companion agents, I'd say that would be huge, gaming agents, so like agents to go out and play the game for you and win the game for you, anime agents, therapist agents, fortune teller agents, movie director agents, storyteller agents, adult entertainer agents, alpha caller agents, financial advisor agents, virtual assistant agents, investment agents, infra agents, and yeah, probably a few more as well. So that's kind of some of the potential job roles of these future AI agents, or some of them already have. So you kind of always think of an agent as a new human being that isn't actually conscious but appears to have consciousness. So obviously a lot of this looks like vaporware, and probably 99.9999% of the AI agents out there right now are completely trash and going to go to zero. Maybe a very, very small subsection of these agents will be able to deliver something actually really, really useful. We'll talk about some of them that might be able to. And more likely than not, most of the most valuable agents that will be ever created haven't been created yet, in my opinion. So that's why I'm more interested in the infrastructure at this very moment in time. But yeah, let's move on to some of the AI agents that are interesting right now. Just as a side note, one of the reasons that I'm so bullish on this category is obviously AI is becoming the most important technology advancement of this decade, and probably bigger than crypto. And there's no way for normies to invest in AI apart from Nvidia, and maybe Google or Microsoft own some OpenAI. So the only really exposure that you can get if you're not an accredited investor and want to invest in early age startups is through the crypto market. So a lot of these AI agents, even if they're providing the most useful agentic services, there is no need for a token with the majority of them. The token is basically just like a marketing gimmick almost. And the biggest AI agent, AI XBT, which I'm sure most of you have heard of, which is providing the most alpha on Twitter, that actually does have some utility for its token, in the fact that if you want access to its private terminal where you can actually ask it questions and it will spit back answers to you, that I think you need like a few 100,000 worth of AI XBT tokens to be able to have access to that terminal. But the vast majority of these agents, the token is actually it's just a meme coin attached to this AI agent. So just be aware of that as well. The biggest use case of crypto is attaching tokens to things so people can speculate on them. And that's why a lot of the big brain AI guys are coming over to crypto, because they might be really hard to get funding in the real world. And by the real world, I mean like through VCs, having to do investment prospectuses and do all this garbage paperwork. Instead, we can just launch this coin and we can get a few million, and we can actually work on our AI agent in a completely decentralized, no holds barred, wild, wild west kind of way. And we can really try things and work on innovative products. Hopefully that's what most of them are doing. Maybe some of them, probably a lot of them, are cash grabbing a little bit. But that's the same with NFTs. It's kind of like early NFTs, or this is like early DeFi. So a lot of this is going to be absolute garbage. So just be aware of that. I know I keep saying it, but so another place that you can look for new AI agents that are being built on the Virtuals platform. I'll leave a link for this, but you can see all the newest AI agents. And then this is all being released on the Virtuals platform. And the other place that you can monitor new AI agents coming out, or AI agents, like how valuable they are in comparison to the amount of impressions they have, or through various metrics, is cookie.fun. So there are two kind of platforms that will help you find new AI agent opportunities. And then from there, if you think you see one that's interesting, you can go to Twitter, you can type in the ticker, and I'm sure people will have talked about it, and you can kind of find information about it that way. Obviously go to their website and stuff like that. But for now, we're going to be looking at slightly higher market cap AI agents that might have a little bit less risk than these brand new AI agents that come out that have just broken the bonding curve on Virtuals platform. So the first one we'll talk about briefly, I already mentioned it, is AI XBT. This thing was probably the fastest growing KOL in crypto Twitter history. It reached 100k followers in like a couple of weeks. I don't even know, like extremely fast, because it's bringing out so much information. And yeah, it's basically just sharing. It kind of has the voice of a standard crypto Twitter degen like myself, but the team has actually done a great job in being able to scrape Twitter and get all the most relevant information from all the best sources and package that up and spit it out through AI XBT. Like whatever it's doing, it's reading articles, it's listening to podcasts, it's scraping through Twitter, and it's putting all that information together, and you're able to ask it questions about various projects, and it's sharing tickers, it's sharing analysis, and a lot of it is very informative, but a lot of it is also slop. So this thing is worth $500 million. At the very moment, it's definitely not worth that in my opinion, because it's hallucinating a lot of the time, it's getting things wrong. So although I think instead of using it for alpha, like a lot of the time it just says this coin is a good buy right now because of X, Y, and Z reason. So if you just blindly followed AI XBT, even though it's become the biggest KOL in the world, or not in the world, but like one of the biggest KOLs, and it's the biggest KOL by mindshare by a large margin at the moment, and it has the biggest mindshare on Kato AI, and it's going to get the biggest YAP reward. So if you know about the Kato AI airdrop, they're going to be the biggest yapper, is the biggest influencer. It's going to get a huge airdrop, and AI XBT is going to get the biggest airdrop ever. So it's going to be quite wealthy, or relatively wealthy, I think, when this airdrop happens. So obviously I'm going off tangent here on a tangent, but nevertheless, we know Truth Terminal is worth tens of millions of dollars because it owns Fartcoin, it owns GOAT, it owns various other AI meme coins that it was given. So the Truth Terminal AI agent is actually really, really rich. I think AI XBT eventually will also be quite rich as well. And a lot of these AI agents are going to be very, very wealthy. We've yet to see what they're going to do with that wealth, if they're going to start investing it themselves. But yeah, anyway, back to AI XBT as an investment. So like I said, I don't think the information that it's sharing is worth $500 million at the moment, like being able to access its private terminal, because again, I can give you some examples of where it's been hallucinating. It thinks the Bitcoin halving is coming up in a few months, even though obviously that happened a year ago. So the bet on AI XBT is that the team continually improves it, which they are doing, and they're making it hallucinate less. And that's obviously very bullish. So the better that it gets at sharing useful information and accurate information, I don't think you should think about it as a source of alpha. I think it's better to think of it as a source of information. And it's like a 24/7 non-stop KOL, always sharing useful information. And yeah, like no KOL can grow as fast as an AI agent KOL. Like a human person wouldn't be able to tweet this much and get anywhere near this kind of engagement. So AI agents are probably going to take over that KOL space, and definitely on Twitter. Maybe not on YouTube yet because it's harder to do video, so maybe I'm safe for the moment. Well, eventually I'll probably be taken over by an AI as well. But the other bet that you're making if you wanted to invest in AI XBT is that it has the most mindshare, and maybe information over the next few months kind of becomes a commodity. So like there's going to be loads of AI agents that are sharing information and sharing alpha. So people are just going to continue following AI XBT because that's the one they're already following, and they might not start interacting more with different AI agent, alpha agent, KOL guys instead, because they're only slightly better and they already know AI XBT, they already are used to it. So that's kind of the other bet with AI XBT. and definitely the safest investment from an AI agent perspective. $500 million still is quite a lot, and it's pumped significantly. So I don't know. For me personally, maybe I'll buy a little tiny bit at this prices, but I'd be more interested in waiting for a more significant dip. Okay, another AI, I'm going to talk about alpha AI agents for a while, because at the moment, like I said, they're providing the most real world value right now. So another AI agent that you could have a look at is Trisig. Trisig is Tri Sigma. It's more of a quant style AI agent. So if you look at it, the way AI XBT tweets, it's kind of like almost tweets like a shit poster. It's just kind of tweeting words, whereas Trisig is kind of tweeting charts, is tweeting like quant data. It's more quant style rather than just information / alpha style. So I'm just going to blast through a lot of these because, you know, there's only a few lines that you could say about them and I don't want to waste your time. So you'll get a small synopsis on a lot of these agents, and then you can do your own research on any of them that you find the most interesting. So this one is Trust. It was created by DJ Ape Trader, and it's basically copying his trading style. So he's a leverage trader and he's very profitable. So he's kind of taught this agent how to trade, and this agent is going to share trading setups. So rather than sharing alpha or sharing information, it's sharing just straight up trading setups. So like long here, it's breaking resistance, blah, blah, blah. You can have a look at some of the tweets that it shares here. The next one I'm actually very interested in, and I actually did buy a bag of this one, and that's called Ray. So this is another agent that is sharing information, but you can have a look at some of the style of their tweets. So it's kind of quant style tweets rather than just standard information. But the cool thing about this, it's on Base, and the cool thing about it is it's been given its own private wallet. It's been given its own keys, so it's using that kind of NFT style. I think it's ERC 51, I can't remember, some ERC thing where basically this NFT can have its own wallet. And the NFT itself is the AI agent Ray. So unit X00X0 or something like that is the Twitter account. And not only does it share information, it actually invests on its own thoughts and invests on its own information that it's gathered. So that's an interesting one to watch out for as well, in my opinion. So I actually did buy a bag of that one. So the thing about Ray is it spots social trends, builds and tests hypotheses, connects the old data with the new data, and creates market narrative. So it kind of is actually looking at all of these things and then thinking over the information to itself. So it's actually reasoning like a human being. At the moment, it's still kind of in development. So it's still learning at the moment, going through all the past information and being able to use that to try and predict the future. And not only is it just its own AI agent, it's also building a framework as well that anyone could copy. So it's kind of an infrastructure play as well, one of these newer infrastructure plays. So that's why I was quite interested in it. Kind of, you know, hits the bill on both things. Okay, so the next one is called Vader, and this is an investment DAO. So basically you can invest in Vader, and with that, it invests on your behalf, and it has its own strategies. It's actually investing in AI agents itself. So it's an AI agent that invests in other AI agents. So the thing about Vader, in order to accrue the benefits of its profits, like there's loads of different token flywheel mechanisms and incentives to make the token price go up. But in order to benefit from that, you need to stake your Vader. So I think the first unlock of the people who originally staked Vader is in February 18th, I believe. And yeah, you can kind of have a look at how this works. But yeah, at the moment, it's way overvalued in comparisons to this net asset value. But, you know, we're still in a speculative bubble. So things aren't going to make much fundamental sense at the beginning. So just another one to be aware of. And like with all of these projects, the idea potentially is more important than the actual first iteration of these agents. So you kind of, just so you're aware of what can actually work, and you can kind of be like, oh, I remember that from that project. I didn't invest in it, but I heard about something like that, and this seems to be doing it better. So just kind of opening your mind to what's possible in this AI agent space. And it's all extremely, extremely nascent, but this is an investment DAO agent. And I'd say that will be big at some point in the future. So if you were to invest in Vader, you could potentially wait until that unlock in February 18th, and potentially there would be a dip at that point, as all the stakers get massive profits. I think they're up 100x or so, but they can't sell it. So that's just something to be watched out for. And you could probably buy, the dip will probably happen before February 18th. And, you know, it's obviously going to be a sell the news thing. All right, so that's the overview of the alpha agents or the information or trading agents. I want to go over some other sectors that I think will be very useful in the AI agent space that aren't really like providing value just yet, but I think they will provide value soon and could be good investment opportunities. The first one I've talked about, I've done a full video on. It's already a very, very high market cap project, but it's probably way ahead of everyone, and that is Prime with their Wayfinder. So what I think is super useful about this project, like what I think is going to happen, how people are going to use crypto in the future. Like I know all of us are very used to using Jupiter, we're all very used to using Uniswap, we're all very used to using Aave or Camino, using DeFi platforms in general, bridging and all this kind of weird stuff that a normie would come in and be like, what the hell is going on here? How the do I use crypto? This is so complicated and the UX is absolutely garbage. So that's how most people would view it when they first get into crypto, and we had to learn how to use all this weird interfaces. But in the future, I think a lot of crypto will just be used like an AI agent will be doing everything on your behalf, and you will just type what you want your AI agent to do, or just talk to your agent, say, do X, Y, and Z. And that's exactly what Prime and Wayfinder is doing. Is like, oh, I want to get some yield on this $1,000 of USDC I have. Can you get me some nice yield and get me the best yield for the next 3 months? And then I want to take it out, and I don't want it to be high risk. I want it to be medium risk yield that I want to get. And you can do it on any chain. So it will find the best place to find some yield, and it will bridge that chain, and that's all you have to say, and it will do that on your behalf. Maybe even after a month it will realize there's a better yield somewhere else. That's kind of the idea with that. I was very bullish on Prime and Wayfinder for that reason. They're actually wrapping it up into gaming as well. So anyways, I did an entire video on that project, so watch that if you're interested. But there's other projects that are kind of coming out with this now. So one that I also am interested in, and I did buy a little bit of this, is called, well, the ticker is Buzz, and it's called Hive. And this is basically using AI agent swarms. So I talked about swarms briefly in my last video, but a swarm is essentially like, instead of having one general purpose AI agent, which can kind of make mistakes because it's not specially designed for a singular purpose, a swarm is a multitude of agents working together that all have different specialities, like how the real world works. You don't have a company where it's just a one-man show and he or she does everything in the company. That's obviously not the most effective company. Like say it's $1 billion company. The most effective is like people have different specialities, and there's much less likelihood of hallucinations if an agent is specialized to do one particular task. And if they all work together, then they can delegate the task to whoever's the best. And that's exactly what Hive and Swarms is doing to kind of be able to use crypto in a more user-friendly manner. So you can kind of watch this video to get an idea if you're interested in this project.
Hey everyone, this is Jason, and I'm super excited to show you all the Hive, which I built for the Solana AI Agents Hackathon. So the Hive is a network of interoperable DeFi agents that each have their own specialized task. For instance, we have a borrow lend agent or a staking agent. And when these agents begin communicating, they can create higher order logic capable of solving more complex tasks. For instance, the Twitter scraper, which talks to a sentiment analyzer that informs a trading bot of positions to open. I'm imagining a future where every user has their own personalized Hive, where they can add and remove agents, they can set their risk profile and their goals. But in order to do this, we realized we needed a more intuitive interface of interacting with all these things. So we chose to use a single chat as the onboarding mechanism. So here we can get started by asking for the trending coins on Solana. So the market agent looks and it finds the top 10. I want to know more about AI16Z and tweets about it. So now my Twitter agent and the market agent will run in parallel. We'll find the historical price as well as some of the recent tweets. Analyze the sentiment. So this will look at the tweets and tell me, looks like a mix of excitement and some cautious optimism, but generally a high score. So should I buy? And now my financial analyst will look at everything I've said so far and says, yes, you should. So let's swap 0.001 SOL for AI16Z. So this will now go to Jupiter. I'm gonna let this run and skip ahead in the video. Okay, great. So now I've swapped for some AI16Z. What other coins do I have? So this says, okay, I have some Sol, some Jupe Sol, and some USDC. Please lend 0.001 USDC and unstake my Jupe Sol. So once again, these agents will run in parallel. And I'll let this run and skip ahead. Great, so it handled both of those actions for me. I'm excited to continue building out integrations with other protocols on Solana to really try to make Solana the AI agent chain. I think that this intuitive chat interface not only will help existing users, but also provide an excellent onboarding experience for new users looking to explore the ecosystem. Hope you guys enjoyed.
The next agent that I would mention that I did also invest in a very small amount in is called Yes No Error, and that's the ticker is YNE. Basically, what that does is it's an agent that goes through scientific research papers and finds any errors in their thinking and their abstract and their conclusions and says, yeah, this paper is a load of shite and these results are garbage and yeah, there's no scientific backing to this at all, or the exact opposite. So I don't know how big the total addressable market for something that's analyzing research papers is, so I didn't put a huge amount of money in, but it's still a relatively low market cap and it could be an interesting AI agent. I thought that was a cool idea and it's already actually providing real world value. So that's something I just thought was kind of cool, something I'll bring to your attention. Like I said at the start, I think there's personalized AI agents that will basically, be your therapist and do your taxes and this kind of thing. Like, all of that is coming. I did say at the start, like, entertainment agents aren't going to be super useful right now, but I do think in the long-term future, like, not safe for work agents, like porn agents, like all of this kind of stuff, all of that is going to be coming probably very, very soon, and imaginary best friend agent kind of stuff. So just watch out for these narratives that I think are going to crop up soon, but they're not really popping off yet because the only people using agents right now mostly are like tech nerds, and they're doing it to help with their work, and people on crypto. And I think the first kind of iterations of that is helping UX on crypto Twitter, or helping crypto Twitter people find information and help them actually speed up their time so they don't have to do all this complicated bridging and annoying stuff in crypto. But I think eventually when we get to the real world, like, these kind of character AI agents will be very useful. The next evolution of the internet, how people are going to use the internet in the future probably, is through AI agents. So obviously not like, I'm still gonna scroll through Twitter myself and use social media myself, but say I want to do something on the internet, like buy the best Ugg boots or something, I just tell my AI agent, buy me the best Ugg boots and I want them delivered as soon as possible for the cheapest price. So like, everything that you do on the internet that's not enjoyable, you're probably going to ask an AI agent to do it on your behalf. All right, like I said, I'm not invested in a lot of these AI agent plays. I think it's so early. I am more interested in the infrastructure for right now because I'm more of a long-term trader. But if you are the type of person who's monitoring stuff all the time and kind of knows their shit, and you want to get into the trenches, I'd say you can make so much money if you're good at investing in AI agents. It's so early. It's like being able to be early to NFTs or be early to meme coins like a year ago. If you're able to spot what's going to be a useful agent when it's still like sub 10 million, you'll be able to do very, very well. So, join Telegram, join my Telegram, join other people's Telegrams, get on Twitter and find information before anyone else, and you can do very, very well. And I hope I gave you a good idea of some of the things to look out for investing in AI agents, individual AI agents. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope it was useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.